Hello there everybody, this is Graham, also known as Collector 75. Welcome to another Transformers review. Well, it's more of a knockoff review today. I'm not going to go into the transformations, but I wanted to show off the knockoff Punch Counterpunch and the Generations breakdown. Just because a few people did ask me. What's going on here? Oh, sorry about that, that was on my jeans. Anyway, right. Let's start off with the knockoff breakdown. It's actually a very good figure. Now, I actually did this video in reverse. I've already done the robot mode, as we'll come on to soon. And I transformed these back from robot modes into their car modes, because I'm going to put them away, take them back to my mum's house, put them back up in the loft and everything. I fucking hate this toy. Not so much because it's KO, I just hate the mould. I mean, I have the same problem on Sideswipe, Red Alert, Sunstreaker, trying to get this bastard back into car mode. It's just all panels and it is a fucking nightmare just getting everything to line up. You've got to scrape bits of plastic past each other and everything. Oh, pardon me. It is an absolute nightmare. So anyway, apart from that, this is actually a pretty damn good knockoff, if I'm honest. I actually, zoomed in. No. Oh, it is actually. No wonder it was so close. Oh no, I don't know how that happened. Let's just zoom in. There we go. That'll do. Yeah, so it's actually a pretty cool knockoff. I mean, I put the extra Decepticon label on there. It did have one, but it was a bit distorted. You usually get that on KO figures. The paint applications aren't the best, but all the wheels roll and everything. It holds together pretty well. And in robot mode, as you'll see, it actually looks pretty cool. For some reason, don't know if it's going to pick it out too well. It's got a little hole in the plastic there. It was obviously got a little bit thin towards there, but it wasn't too bad. I did have a major problem when I first got this figure, trying to get it from car mode into robot mode. The two little tabs in there, I was stuck. It took me about 20 minutes just to get them out. It does come with an extra missile launcher, and if you buy the knockoff Botcon G2 one of this mould, which I've seen on eBay, I believe it comes with a different coloured one of these. It would have been cool if they'd have made a little hole so you could have it in car mode. That would have been cool, because it would have then represented its like missile thing that it had for the old G1 toy. That would have been pretty smart. Right, so let's move on to the Transformers Timelines Punch Counterpunch Transformers Collectors Club exclusive. It comes with this box, which is an exact replica of the actual box. The only difference is this one now says CHMS, which is who it's made by, and even has, I don't know if that's their website address or whatever on this, because the original kosher box doesn't have that on it. It does have, if you open it up inside, it does come in the pre-box. You do get an instruction sheet with it. You don't get no bio or nothing with it, which is a bit of a shame, but you do get the polystyrene or whatever it's called insert. It does have all the instructions and everything, which is pretty smart, you know, stuff like that. Anyway, you put them back in there and close that back up because no one really wants to see the box. Anyway, I'm going to put that over there and come on to the figure itself. Again, exactly the same as breakdown over there. It's a pretty okay representation. I had a lot of trouble when I was just getting this now back into car mode, getting the panels to line up, but you play around with it and eventually they line up. It doesn't come with the rub symbol. Instead, I put a little Decepticon insignia there. Might focus on it. I'm not sure if it will or not. And I think it looks pretty cool like that, actually. Other than that, you know, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It is a car at the end of the day. Right, so let's transform this into robot mode and we'll take it from there. Right, so I've transformed them both into robot mode. We're going to just put Punch over the back there. We'll come on to him in a second. Let's just have a look at the knockoff breakdown. I actually took the spring out of this weapon there because that would become very annoying and it wouldn't stay in. If I'm honest, I think they've done a pretty damn good job with this knockoff of breakdown. it's really good actually. I think the joints are actually pretty well tight. I mean, I've got one slight issue with one knee joint. It's a bit loose, and so when you put it down, it can end up as a funny angle. But the rest of it, I think the arms are tight. This arm, it can be a little loose, but that's easily fixable. It's nothing, and sometimes that happens on a genuine figure as well. All the rest of it is fairly tight. It's got a great head sculpt. This is, of course, based on the, I believe, the Botcon Generations G2 breakdown. And I'm surprised that Hasbro never did this figure, if I'm honest with you. For some reason, they made an extra missile launcher, which is pretty cool. It does fit into either. This got a little hole just there, maybe you can see it. Fit into either or, but. And of course I added the little Decepticon logo on the front there. Overall, a very good figure. It stands easily well. It stands a lot better, as you can see. It does that with a leg, I don't know why. It stands a lot better than this guy. This is the knockoff Punch Counterpunch, of course. This is in the Autobot Punch mode. I have a few issues here. I had to tighten up, I think, one or two of the joints on the arms. They were a little loose. The legs is where you're going to find a lot of problems, or on mine anyway. You can't really move them too well, otherwise they just pop off the joints, and if you do move them, they end up just, as you can see, flipping back into one position, and they don't always sit straight. I put a few little yellow stickers over the screw joints because I thought they looked a little silly. He doesn't stand too well. I can't work out why, but the joints just don't seem to want to measure up. The breakdown over there is fine, but this guy, it just doesn't want to stand very well. The other problem with this figure, of course, is the head. The head is far too small for this figure. I don't know why they made it so small. I mean, they could have made it a lot larger. Maybe because it was a convention figure. Obviously they had to spend money out making it, so obviously to make it smaller probably would have saved them money in the long run with less plastic used and what have you. But in the end it just looks a bit little small. Now Breakdown's head over there is just right for the figure, and you can see it's like almost a third bigger. A shame really. Anyway, let's transform this into Counterpunch, and it's got a fairly simple transformation. We're going to do the easy bit first. We turn the gun round. I would take that out first. We're going to turn the whole figure around first of all, and this is what I did. I did, oh, mind you, I did put a little Autobot logo on him there, one of the free, just the white ones that I got from Retro Labels, and I did the same on the back of this guy, because this guy doesn't come with the rub symbols that the official figure did. And so I put a tiny little Decepticon one up there, because I thought if he's going to be a car mode in any time, and he's a double spy, so he's an Autobot mainly. You know, it doesn't matter that he's got a Decepticon symbol in car mode, because if anyone sees him, he can be the Decepticon, and then if any Autobots see him, they know he's an Autobot, really, don't they? So it isn't going to matter. So then we turn the whole car around, and that is basically most of the transformation. We turn his little foot around, like so, and turn that at an angle. That gives him his legs. As you can see, they always end up looking a little funny on this figure. We then turn the whole arm assembly round. The one big problem with this figure, and I do believe it's on the other figure as well, is that you end up with the thumb on the outside of his hand, and there isn't no way round it, which is a shame. I'm pretty certain, because if I turn it round, like so, if we can keep turning it around, bloody door panel does get annoying, and do it like that, it always ends up on the outside, which is a little bit of a shame. I suppose you could pop them out if you really wanted to and turn them back around. Anyway, and then all we do on the head is much like the old G-Run figure. I find it easier if I actually disconnect the head, because it is very, very tight, this joint, and then we flip it all the way back. I do believe another third party did make a head for this guy, which is a lot bigger. Oh, there we go. As you can see, I managed to do that, and it's sort of pulled it off the joint there. So we won't move that as far. But that's about it. And as you can see, let me get a little more close up on that, it'll probably be easier. And that is Counterpunch's head, and it's not too bad actually. Just could have done with being a bit bigger. Anyway, you put that back on, and there we have the Decepticon Counterpunch. You can put this on here, I'm sure you can, if it wants to stay. I don't know if it does on this figure. And it should cover up the Autobot logo. Doesn't really want to stay in too well. So if you can get it to stay, you're fucking lucky. Nah, it doesn't really want to know. Anyway, but if you was lucky, you could get it to stay on there. But being a knockoff figure, it doesn't surprise me that it won't. And then with the gun, you just turn the gun round. So he's got the single barrel, much like the original Counterpunch toy. And there we have it. That is Counterpunch in robot mode. This time he's got more red on him than yellow. I think it was a good attempt by Hasbro to make the toy. I mean, I didn't get the original one, probably like I said earlier, because I am doing this video in reverse. I haven't actually shot the start of the video that you've already seen already in car mode yet. So if I say the same thing twice, that's probably why. Yeah, I think it was a brave attempt for them to do this figure, and I don't blame them for doing it, because it was a perfect figure to do it with, to try and make Punch and Counterpunch. It's just a little bit off in some respects, but still a very good figure, actually, a very good one. The knockoff one, like I probably said before, I just can't justify the money that the official figures go for these days. I think some of them are vastly overpriced, and what you do is you get a load of people buying them and trying to sell them at inflated prices. A figure in point is the G2 coloured Fall of Cybertron Bruticus, which I do want because I do like Generation 2. So I'd like to get that figure. Now, it was a pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store and stuff for about $50 or $60, something like that. It may have been cheaper. But now you want to see it on eBay? No, it's like people want double prices. You can tell they were just buying them up to try and sell on. And that kind of pisses me off, to be honest, and I'm getting a bit sick of it. That's why these days, if I see a figure like this, I don't really like buying knockoffs of figures like that, but sometimes I will, because the prices are just stupidly inflated. I can't justify it really, but just that these days, what can you do if you want a figure? Believe me, I don't condone it, but I don't, what's the word, I don't blame people for doing it, because you want a figure, but why are you going to pay a stupid amount? I know the old adage is really, if no one bought it, then people wouldn't do it and stuff like that, but you can't blame people. Anyway, yeah, not a couple of good figures, actually, a couple of good KOs. I'm surprised Hasbro never actually did that figure. Maybe they were planning to, but there we go. Anyway, this has been Graham, the Collector 75. Hope you liked this review, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.